Now, let us take America today. We have in America today, ladies and gentlemen, $272 billion of debt. 272 thousands of millions of dollars of debt are owed by the various people of this country today. Why, my friends, that cannot be paid. It is not possible for that kind of debt to be paid. The entire currency of the United States is only $6 billion. That is all the money that you have got in America today. All the actual money that you have got in all of your banks, that all of you got in your government treasury, is $6 billion. And if you took that money and paid it out today, you would still owe $266 billion. And if you took that money and paid it again, you would still owe $260 billion. And if you took it, my friends, 20 times and paid it, you would still owe $150 billion. You would have to have 45 times the entire monetary supply of the United States today to pay the debts of the peoples of America. And then they would still just have to start out from scratch without a dime to go on. So, my friends, it is impossible to pay all these debts. You might as well find out that it cannot be done. The United States Supreme Court has definitively found that it cannot be done, because in a Minnesota case, it held that when a state postponed the evil day of collecting a debt, it was a valid and constitutional exercise of legislative power. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I may proceed to give you some other words that I think you can understand. I'm not going to belabor you by quoting tonight. I'm not going to tell you what all the wise men of all ages and all times, down to even the present day, have all said. That you must keep the wealth of the country scattered, and that you must limit the amount of money that any one man can own. And you cannot let any man own $300 billion or $400 billion. If you do, one man can own all the wealth that the United States has in it. Now, my friends, if you were off on an island where there were 100 lunches, you could not let one man eat all 100 lunches or take 100 lunches. If you did, there would not be anything else for the balance of the people to consume. So, we have in America today, my friends, a condition by which 10 men dominate the means of an activity in at least 85% of the activities that you own. They either own directly everything, or they've got some kind of mortgage on it, with a very small percentage to be accepted. They own the banks, they own the steel mills, they own the railroads, they own the bonds, they own the mortgages, they own the stores. And they have chained this country from one end until the other, until there is not any kind of business that a small, independent man can go into today and make a living. And there is not any kind of business that a small, independent man can go into and make any money to buy an automobile with. And they have finally and gradually and steadily eliminated everybody from the fields in which there is a living to be made. And still, they have got little enough sense to think that they ought to be able to get more business out of it anyways. If you reduce a man to the point where he is starving to death and bleeding and dying, how do you expect that man to get any money to spend with you? It is not possible. Then, ladies and gentlemen, how do you expect people to live when the wherewith cannot be held by the people?